Preston and Mary, the key was keeping a very low profile, but there were slip-ups along the way, and before long, this couple in Lynnwood had the full attention of a drug task force. An attractive home in an unassuming neighborhood, but inside, the Snohomish Regional Drug Task Force uncovered a record amount of fentanyl, as well as weapons and other drugs.
I mean, I never saw people going in and out of the house or anything like that, so I don't think they were dealing out of their house, but definitely preparing it all there.
Investigators arrested Jose Casablanca and his girlfriend, Jessie Cruz, after tracking the couple for some time. Then the task force searched their Lynnwood home, which is when neighbor Alex Jimenez took this video.
When I saw, police turning out ARs, riot shields, even the thing to, blow up, breach a door, that's when I knew. I was like, whoa.
Detectives say the fentanyl alone is worth at least $19 million and represented a grave public safety risk.
That can make about 1.4 million counterfeit pills and has the potential to kill 700,000 people.
Given the size of the operation, investigators say there could be more arrests to come.
I mean, I've heard a lot of horrible stories about those kind of drugs, and it's frightening knowing it's right there.
Let's look again at the haul. 1,400 grams of fentanyl, 800 grams of heroin, methamphetamine, drug packaging materials, several firearms, and $14,000 in cash. Tonight, the couple remains in jail awaiting potential criminal charges.
Bryce was a good kid.
Michelle Foran did not want to be on camera.
I'm having a very, very difficult time.
But she still wanted to say how much she loved her grandson.
Bryce and I were very, very close.
17-year-old Bryce Armstrong was shot and killed Monday evening.
Him and his friends were just out to have a good time at the park.
But investigators are still sorting out all the different witness accounts. Right now, they believe he got into a fight with a 22-year-old man in his group Monday evening at Steel Lake Park. Then authorities say another woman in their group fired several shots. 28-year-old Tanika So is accused of pulling the trigger. Armstrong died at the scene. The other man remains in critical condition with gunshot wounds. Investigators also say a 30-year-old man in the group was grazed in the ankle by a stray bullet. A 12-year-old boy walking nearby with his family was also hit. Both are expected to recover. What would you like to say to the person who allegedly pulled the trigger?
What are you doing? Why do you do such a thing? You hurt yourself. You hurt Bryce's family.
So's criminal history includes convictions for theft and assault, but it's unclear why or if this shooting was even intentional.
He was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
So remains in King County Jail and will be in court on Wednesday for her first appearance. From Federal Way, Jonathan Cho, KOMO News.
Mary, when we went to cover this rally, I tried to go and talk to protesters about their message, but I was met with hostility and told KOMO wasn't welcome there, even though we were on public property. Now, some of these protesters and I actually had a meaningful conversation, and some of them followed us and blocked us.
Protesters blocked our KOMO News cameras as we tried to cover a rally at Seattle Central College calling to defund SPD ahead of the Budget Committee meeting tomorrow.
50% of the rest of the year's budget is $85 million, and that's what we're going to be fighting for.
We eventually got this video of the rally and march to the West Precinct from a neighbor. It's where Councilmember Kshama Sawant led protesters with a message to defund the Seattle police budget by 50% for the rest of 2020. They want $85 million removed from the police budget and the money to be invested in working-class communities of color.
On August 3rd, the City Council will vote to defund the police.
The Seattle Police Officers Guild released this video petition to stop the defunding campaign. The SPOG president says the proposed defunding will fire at least 800 officers, create longer 911 response times, and crime will go up at an alarming rate.
If the council gets their wishes to defund us by 50%, CHOP or Chaz will look like child's play across the city when there will not be enough police officers available to answer 911 calls citywide.
night in the thick of Saturday's riot was Seattle law student Alexander Chen.
What I saw was the use of force against a lot of people who really weren't being violent at all.
Chen, whose first time ever protesting was after George Floyd's death, said on top of being peaceful, she insists police gave no dispersal order or warning.
I also was hit by a few pieces of shrapnel. Thankfully, nothing serious. It shouldn't be dangerous to come out and protest.
But that is exactly what this lawsuit filed by the ACLU on behalf of Black Lives Matters and plaintiffs like Chen alleges.
People who had done nothing at all and who weren't suspected of having done anything being injured.
Specifically, it alleges that SPD's use of force was excessive and violated a recent court injunction, which prohibits SPD from indiscriminate use of their crowd control weapons, including tear gas, pepper spray, blast balls, and flashbangs.
They have to be used against a really specific target.
The suit wants SPD held in contempt and says, quote, this conduct is wrong even in the absence of a court order. But here it is especially troubling, given the court's clear guidance that peaceful protesters must not be targeted.
I don't think that we should all be gassed for one or two people's actions.
The police chief won't talk about it. Her staff said she can't comment on pending litigation. But SPD's Chris Fisher said this during an online town hall Monday night.
And when this demonstration clearly became a riot, then SPD had to step in and engage the crowd and try to regain control.
24 people, including legal observers, are regular at demonstrations to ensure protesters get to exercise their First Amendment rights, insist they were ambushed by police.